Now we have written class block. This is class block, and you maintain the indentation perfectly. Then we can identify the block. Sometimes a lot of nesting may come. Then if indentation is made, then you can clearly identify each and every block separately. Okay, actually in a class definition there is scope of 9 types of elements. So if I introduce all 9 types of elements at a time, you are so much confused. Actually, once again I list out what are the main type of elements which we write in a class definition. Instance variables, static variables, constructors, instance methods, static methods, instance initializer blocks, static initializer blocks, instance inner classes, static inner classes. Totally 9 type of main elements we can write in a class. That's why how can we master each and every element is required. We must know everything about every element thoroughly. That's why we have to introduce one by one element and master it and go for the next element. That is the strategy what I am implementing. Then by end of 50% of course, then you will be well versed with all the members and all their functionalities, rules, regulations, everything you learn. So, but you must have patience. Without perseverance and all that, you never become a programmer. Especially, you never become a Java programmer. You should have perseverance and you should develop passion towards that. Just a matter of 2 months changes your life, changes your thinking pattern and learning process also. Okay, now within that, I am simply writing main method. Actually, in C we call as functions. Here we call them as methods. So sometime if I use function also, you understand as a method. Both are one and same. Actually, in C program, just write main or simply write void main and all that. Here, many qualifiers you have to write. It is compulsory. There is no option, no choice. Public, static, void, main, string, arg. This you must write. And here I give you a brief explanation. In Java concept pool, I am explaining them in detail. Here, if I explain all that and all that, we are distracted from the main explanation. That's why I give you a brief explanation about each and every element. Main. Main method is like a entry point of the program. Program execution starts from the entry point. It is like our entrance gate of our house. So here main, it should be public. Actually, if you close your hmm, entrance gate, who can, you never have interaction with the outside world. Outside people cannot enter into your home. So that's why it should be always public. Public means it is open to entire world. That is the meaning. You understand? Just I am giving a brief meaning, and whenever context comes, I give you the detailed meaning. However, Java conceptual you can watch for the detailed explanation of for this and all that. So always you must qualify it with the modifier public. Public, and here one point, program execution starts from the main point. Here, entry gate you should open. Once somebody enters and all that in your home, many compartments are there. That those compartments you call as drawing hall, bedroom, study room, kitchen, puja room, etc. and all that. Now, those rooms, if you want, you can make them private. That means restricted or semi-restricted. All that you can make. For example, you see that your main gate is open, your drawing hall is public. All people can enter and sit in that. But As far as your puja room is concerned, restricted entry. Your bedroom is concerned, totally private. Like this, just in real life, whatever you follow in programming also, those concepts only we follow. Just I am giving a briefing about that. That's why always main should be public. Next thing is, it is void. Actually, a function may return, actually always, if you know C and all that, a function may take argument or may not take arguments. A function may return arguments, may not return arguments. Here, main function, main method is taking arguments, and it may return or may not return. Main is not returning anything. In this case, in Java, main does not return anything. How can you tell that? If it returns anything, you can tell it can return into type, it can return float type, it can return double type, it can return string type, all that you can write. But here, main does not return anything. That also should be specified by void. Void return type. Void means this function does not return anything. So main does not return anything. That should be explicitly specified. Understand? That it is not optional. Thereafter, static. Static concept, little confusing. Actually, static means belong to class. If you don't tell and all that, it is uh, belong to object or instance. Here one example I have to tell you. You take, we consider one apartment. One apartment is there, a multi-flats apartment, and apartment you treat it as a class, and individual flats you treat as objects and all that. So if you take two types of servants are there, apartment oriented servants and flat oriented servants. Let us take security guard. Security guard, suppose you are occupant of one flat in the apartment, and there are two types of servant. One is security guard, other one is servant maid. As far as security guard is concerned, who is he? If I ask, what you tell is our security guard. One servant maid is there. Who is she? I ask, what you tell? My servant maid. Why you are using different words? When I, with reference to security guard, if I ask, what you are telling? Our security guard. As far as servant maid is concerned, my servant maid. Understand? Here, that is the difference between belong to apartment, belong to flat. Servant maid belongs to flat. Security guard belong to apartment. Here, the same analogy you take. Servants, functions are methods are nothing but servants. So whether the servant is belong to class or belong to object, you must decide. So if it is belong to class, you should use static. If you don't use, it will belong to object. That is simple thumb rule I am telling you. Now main belong to static means main belong to class, not belong to object, because objects are created later. Now no objects are there. How main come into existence? Suppose in an apartment nobody occupied, then who will appoint security guard? Security guard is appointed by apartment. So security guard should be there, but no flats are occupied by the people. That's why always main is static. Main belong to class, not belong to any future objects. So that's why all these always main is public, anybody can enter, it is belong to class, main does not return anything, and main takes certain parameters. Those parameters are string type. String means already explained, a set of characters. String type and a set of elements, array. Regarding this, in this chapter only, in command line arguments, a lot of explanation is required. That meticulous study is required. So that's why, just to understand, here in C it is choice. C main may not take arguments, may not take argument, may take arguments like this also through command line. But in Java, it must take arguments. Whatever arguments you take are string type array. String type array, that point only you remember. So, main with all qualifiers we have written with the parameters also. It is compulsory, invariably we have to write like this. In this, only one choice you have, args. Args actually user defined name. Instead of args, you can put params or values, any word you can change. Why should you change? Because everybody uses args. If you use some other word, unnecessarily you are confusing others. That is missing readability. That's why use args. If you want any other word, any other identifier, you can use instead of args. And here one more small choice is there, public static is there and all that. Then a static void, this you can change order, that also you don't do that. Why you make experiments and all that? There is no use, because if you make any experiment, any advantage is there, you can change. So this you remember, public static void main string arg. This will be invariably in every program we write. Thereafter, you have to create main block. Now already told you, whenever you are creating block, 2 characters you leave and write, and you strictly follow indentation and you write it here. So main block, this is a class block, this is a main block. In this, now we have to write statements. We have to write statement. Suppose we have to print hello Java, a string, on the monitor screen. In C, simply we use printf statement. Printf is a writing function. But here we cannot write source, because this is object oriented programming language. Just like a function cannot work independently, your heart alone cannot work, because when your heart works within your body, within you are an object, within your body only your heart works. If you take out, extract your heart and put it here, it does not work. In the same way, print line is a function. It is like your heart. When it is connected to this object, then only it works. Just that point to remember. Here you have to write system dot out dot println. Just briefly, abstractly, I give the meaning. Already I told you. In order to understand the complete meaning of that, complete why syntax and all that, you have to wait up to 15th chapter. By that 75% of this course is over. Then only I can explain you all the elements logically. Now one more thing also, abstraction meaning I told you. Abstraction means a state of understanding. You feel that you understood the concept, but you cannot apply. If you apply also, you cannot logically use it. You cannot know what is the logic behind it and all that. So that's why now time being you learn that. One way I will explain. System. System represents hardware. Out means output stream, that is software. Output stream object, that is software. System is hardware. System means your hardware system. That system class now you see, you can identify like this. What is this element? It is started with first letter capitalize. First letter capitalize. So then according to the convention, when first letter capitalize, if it is a class, then system is a class, and it is linked with out means output stream object. Actually data flows on the data streams. Out is output object, it represents output stream. It is connected, and this output stream object is having a method. That method writes a string on the monitor screen. So now you are connecting 3, then it can perform a functionality like printf in C. Now same syntax, whatever you use in C for a string you have written. Okay. Now complete code of 9 lines in a readable form is available. When you execute this program, and if it does not have any bugs and all that, if it is executed, and you can get hello Java. Whatever string you want to print, that is printed. If you write your name is printed. So in this manner, by studying every program, you should master certain points. Those points I don't repeat in further programs and all that. By that, each program enriches your knowledge. You get few more weapons. Few more weapons are added in your armory. That point always you remember. At the end of the program, what I learned, what are the new points, you write your notes. That is always good. Always I am telling you, writing is a very good habit. Reading and writing are very natural habits which enrich your knowledge and which enable you to own the subject. And here one point I forgot. This is case sensitive language. Case sensitive language. That's why suppose main you are writing. If you write main, it is different. Java cannot recognize it. If you write either this form or this form, uh, Java cannot recognize it because it's purely case sensitive language. That always one thing I am telling you, Java keywords are in lower case only. No keyword is in uppercase. So which keywords we have used here? Class is a keyword. Public is a keyword. Static is a keyword. Void is a keyword. Main is not a keyword, it is a method. Okay, so always you remember remember keywords are written in lower case and the indentation you strictly follow, and once you write a program and all that, you should be well designed document and people should love to read your program. Dumping code, in my view, it is not a real program because it is missing readability. Okay, now you understood how to write, and these line numbers for the sake of index I have given. That's why you don't type these line numbers. Now, so far we have successfully written the source code of the program, and we discussed about all the elements in detail. So at the end of that, you can identify one thing: which elements, which components we are writing in the class definition, because these are like building blocks within the in the code. So which components we have written in the small program, you have to identify. The first one is the method. Here you see main method you have written in the program, and otherwise you can come from the beginning. If you take the entire program, what you have written? You have written a class definition. Within the class definition, what you have written? You have written a method definition, and within the method, what you have written? Statement. This is SOP statement. This is statements means it should be terminated by a semicolon. So in this way, we have to learn element by element, and with every program, you have to learn new elements. And one thing I am telling you finally, once you study this concept thoroughly and all that, just you question yourself, can I explain this concept to somebody? If it is possible, you call somebody, come of your friends and all that, explain. You make it as a habit. It is mutually useful. You can test your knowledge. At the same time, your friends can learn. Understand? In this way, knowledge is disseminated, and this is the first hand testing of your knowledge. If you don't have command, you cannot teach, you cannot explain. That's why wherever gaps are there, immediately you can find out and plug it. Okay, so now we are able to write a small complete program, and after this, in the next concept, I will explain how to write code, how to execute it, all that I will explain in detail.